Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the newest episode of Nerds Amalgamated. This week we have a Supernova recap episode with our special guest Shaun from XCT. How are you going, Shaun?
G'day guys, how you going?
Good.
I'm glad to be back on again. So,
Yes, when was the last time we had you on? The Stan Lee tribute? Or was that before Supernova last year?
Yeah, so I was on one in between that this year, but DJ was just saying that it's been a year since the Stan Lee tribute, which is pretty crazy. So
yeah, I was going to say we had him on. Was it the 100th episode or something like that?
We haven't even reached 100, but okay. Holy shit.
Well, 50th, whatever. You know what I mean? I had him on not that long ago.
yeah, I think it was about April, May.
See,
Before I started doing the rigorous con circuit of June and July, which was like 6 conventions back to back. So
Eesh.
So at least I was aware of this and paid attention.
yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks. Everyone else didn't even realize I was here for a year.
Well, what can I say? At least someone cares about you.
Thanks, mate.
Hey, it's not just us. He has a dog. I'm sure the dog cares.
No, not really.
So Shaun, you must be still hungover from all the excitement of Supernova this year.
Yeah, so I did 3 conventions back to back to finish the convention season. So I was over in New Zealand, did Armageddon, and then the 2 Supernovas in Adelaide and Brisbane. So this week's been detox from conventions. So it's sometimes it's a good thing, but after that week or 2 of not doing them, they are a bit addictive. So it's like you're always looking forward to the next one.
So are you actually looking at people as you walk down the street and going, "Where's your cosplay? What's going on?"
A little bit like that, but it was funny. There was an older guy at work at the local council the other day, and he comes in with a Supernova bag. I'm like, dude, where did you get that from? It's like, oh, I don't know. Someone must have gave it to me. I'm like, yeah, right. So I got another person at work that's been going to these conventions and not telling me.
And we'll have to get pictures of him out there so we can track him as he moves around.
I'll do that.
Why would you feel the need to lie about that? Like, if you're listening to this, Shaun's co-worker, come out, celebrate your geekdom.
That's what I said to him. I've gone, oh, you haven't backed any of my Kickstarters or bought my comics. And he was like, oh, I just, I was taking my son. I was like, isn't your son fully grown and lives in another state?
Hey, don't interrupt father-son time.
Yeah. I just like when people kind of lie, but you know too much about them for them to actually, get away with what they're trying to tell you. So, look, it was funny. I had a little bit of fun at his expense, but it was all good. So
maybe he had a really embarrassing costume.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he likes to dress up as a female cosplayer. I don't know. So I guess in the council environment, there was probably more people interested in pop culture than you would actually think. I think pop culture these days is very, very mainstream, but I do think there is still a little bit of stigma around attending some of these conventions with some people.
Mm-hmm. I have to say there was actually an anime nurse at Brisbane, and it was such a heavy 5 o'clock shadow that it was almost catching up with me. And there were also a couple of Disney princesses and that were running around who had fantastic beards.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of gender swaps this year.
And I find that there's more guys doing it in groups. So it's not just like one person doing it. I had the the four Sailor Moons come across, and it was a bunch of guys doing it. So yeah, good on them that they're kind of having fun with it and that type of stuff. So, but did you guys hear the news that the Supernova update?
I think I vaguely heard about it, that they switched the dates around of the two locations. I think Supernova Gold Coast is having a different date now, or something like that.
Yeah, correct. So they've got Melbourne moving to the first weekend in March, which is, I believe, the 7th and 8th of March. But the Gold Coast one is going to be the 13th and 14th of March. Now, if you work that out, the 13th is actually a Friday. So they're doing a full show on a Friday and a Saturday with no Sunday.
Ooh.
And it's a Friday the 13th.
Yep.
So
They're just trying to get bad luck there.
I reckon this is the beginning of a horror movie. I think the film festival's on at the same time. This is going to end very badly.
So we're going to end up with a lot of zombie cosplayers.
Yes. Oh my God. Has anyone seen Fanboys vs. Zombies by Boom Studios? This is the beginning.
I was actually just thinking I've got the perfect cosplay to wear to it now. I saw a picture of someone had dressed up as the Grim Reaper, and it was looking spectacular. But then they opened their cloak and held their arms out, and it was the blue screen of death.
Nice. Like it.
So Friday the 13th, go as the Grim Reaper and do the blue screen of death. That's guaranteed to freak some people out.
Or just dress up as clown. Just dress up as a clown, because clowns scare people nowadays.
Yeah, there are a lot of Pennywise costumes.
Yep.
Actually, some of the Pennywise costumes. See, I've actually got to give a shout out to all the amazing cosplays that happened at Brisbane last weekend. The amount of detail and level of quality has risen dramatically. Like, thank you very much to all those amazing people. There were some Pennywise that were just absolutely outstanding. They looked like they could actually have been in the movie.
Yeah, the time and effort they go into some of these costumes these days is just, unbelievable. Like, no wonder there's people making a profession out of this, because the quality of some of their outfits is just, second to none.
It wasn't just the outfits, it was like the makeup job. There was a lady walking around as Pennywise, and hands down one of the best costumes of the day, but the makeup job that was done was absolutely phenomenal. It was so good that she came around the corner and there was a young teenage boy walking along who turned around and he saw her, and I almost laughed out loud because of the fact that he wasn't sure whether he was excited, aroused, or petrified. And he stood there kind of looking at her, looking over his shoulder, looking at her. He had a smile but concern on his face at the same time. And I was just sitting there, I was just going, to be a young nerd.
Yeah, I have to say, out of all the limited edition prints that we sold over the weekend, our Georgian Pennywise one was the one that sold the most. So it's surprising how popular the movie has remade those characters.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't hear nearly as much about It Chapter 2 as I did about It Chapter 1, but I saw a lot more Pennywise at this year's Supernova than I did a couple of years ago.
Agreed. I think that I guess some movies take a little bit longer to kind of get that cult following, but I think that one has really taken off. That 6 to 9 months kind of after it's been released, type of thing.
Speaking of cosplay, though, what do you guys thought of the gigantic cosplays we saw, like the guy dressed up in the Warhammer outfit?
Well, I can tell Buck's itching to tell us about his favorite cosplay.
Am I?
Yeah.
You're not talking about the Sisters of Battle.
Of course I am.
I'll admit wholeheartedly right here and now that they were three of the most stunningly beautiful ladies at the entire convention. Their outfits were so phenomenally detailed that looking at it, I could actually picture my Sisters of Battle miniatures from way back when, and yeah, like I would have been quite happy to have just sat and basked in the amazing glory of these beautiful ladies. Kind of made me wish I was the God Emperor. Seriously, like every single aspect of their outfits that I could see were so phenomenally well detailed. Like there was so many areas there where when you do the dry brushing of your miniatures and you sit there and you're watching it and you're putting on all the little blessings and everything like that, and these three ladies had them perfectly. So yeah, thank you very much, and a big shout out to all the 40K cosplayers. There was Adeptus Mechanicus, Inquisition. There was a commissar walking around who I got a photo of, and his outfit was insanely well made. But even he stood in awe of the Sisters of Battle. He commented on them himself as well. So yes, and the Ultramarines and weren't out in force this year, but there were a few others in power armor.
Yeah, I didn't see the guy I usually see at Supernova, who turns up in a full Space Marine power armor, and he has a tech priest following him around.
There was one I didn't actually get enough of a look at him to work out which chapter he was trying to portray, but I think it was only saw him at distance a couple of times, and it looked like a dull smoky green color. So I'm thinking Blood Angels that was their color, but yeah, from what I could see, it was well done too, and that was a huge outfit because he was literally head and shoulders taller than everyone.
Yeah, it's like that guy we saw in the Big Hero 6 costume, dressed as the balloon guy.
Baymax.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. We had someone come by our booth dressed as Baymax from Big Hero 6, and he was standing up significantly high, and I can't imagine it was comfortable in there because it was quite a warm day.
That was the one where you got the photo of him with the Baroness.
Yes.
Yes. I have to say that when we'll get the photo when because he had the head off the outfit as he was walking around, and he looked like he was wearing a walk around sauna. The sweat was streaming down his face. But I did manage to make him laugh though, because when he was trying to pull the head back onto his costume, I said, "Oh no, Big Hero 6 is eating someone."
So how did you guys go at the convention? I know you guys had a table there promoting the podcast and everything. How did all that go for you guys?
I think it went quite well for us. We managed to hand out all of our brochures.
I managed to insult at least 3 people and argue with a few. There were some people were being set up to argue with me by DJ about Marvel being better than DC or something like that.
It was okay. Context here. You were saying something about Marvel movies not being dark enough, and she was saying,
No. That was after you set it up and started it all.
No.
Yeah, you're only speaking the truth there, DJ. Marvel is by far better than the DC universe in the cinematic sense. So I'm on your side there. On your side there. On your side there, mate. You're only speaking the truth. So
big on you, hippie scum.
Well, okay. Basically, there was Buck and one person was arguing about how Marvel movies are not dark enough. Then I interjected a bit and I said, "Okay, what about Logan?" And Buck goes, "That's not that dark. That's not really that dark." It
wasn't dark. It was a bit of a tragedy, but it's not dark.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that. It's was R-rated for the violence, not for the dark context. I
They even
I've
tried-
seen it, so
They even tried telling me that Deadpool was dark, and it's like, how's it dark? It's a comedy. It's not even a dark comedy. It's just violence.
are they
I
getting
think they'll-
confused between R-rated and dark? Because yes, they're both R-rated films, but yeah, I agree with you, Buck, that they're not dark films.
Yeah, like I turned around, it ended up with the lady shaking my hand and going, "Excellent, you can argue, and you're not afraid to argue." And I have to agree with your point there. Mindhunters is dark, and what I was saying isn't dark in comparison.
And there was another movie I said that would be another example of dark. The old Ben Affleck Daredevil.
It's not dark.
Director's cut is yes.
Oh,
Director's cut. The Fox beautiful spin-off crap that they put out first, no. But the director's cut is gritty, is dark, and is actually everything Daredevil is supposed to be. And if you watch that, I can understand why they picked Ben Affleck to be Batman, because that's a very different film compared to what was put out originally by Fox.
yeah.
There are also a lot of Daredevils this year,
Yeah. Oh,
which
well,
there hasn't been a Daredevil movie or TV show for a while, has there?
18 months, yeah. Was there one this year? No. Yes?
I
Yes.
thought they
Yes,
cancelled.
there was. They were all cancelled this year.
Okay.
So, but that was very early on. Was it this year or maybe late last year? I can't really remember now. But there was a lot of press around bringing back some of those characters into the MCU universe. So, Charlie Cox was approached to play Daredevil again. The guy who plays Kingpin was approached to come into the Marvel universe, as well as John Brethel as the Punisher. So, yeah.
in terms of cancelled, Daredevil the series was cancelled last year, November 29.
November, yeah. So it was this time last year, yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of Spider-Man costumes as well this year.
Oh, please don't remind me. There was a few scary ones as well.
Yeah, I feel it's Tom Holland, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. He's really made Spider-Man popular again. You did see a couple of Andrew Garfield ones when those movies come out, but nowhere near the amount that you're saying, that we see lately, DJ, with these current films and everything. And that's to Tom's credit. He's played both Peter Parker and Spider-Man really well.
Yeah. The scary Spider-Man thing. There was a couple of guys who were walking around that you could. I can appreciate the fact that they were in a full lycra outfit, so they were getting very hot and sweaty. It wasn't a very pretty sight watching scrawny guys walking around with lycra stuck in uncomfortable places when you look up from the table.
That's the thing people don't realize is that we're at that awkward height of looking at rather tall people if they're in that type of gear, right with their junk almost in our face, which is
Yes,
What made
but rating system for cosplay seems to be heavily biased towards items that cover up the body.
I hate
Um,
I hate traveling the Spider-Man costume in the bus. Just sitting down and you're like, oh god.
One particular Spider-Man, he walked past our booth a couple of times, didn't say hello even though I said hello to him, and then he was talking to the booth across from us and looking at some of their stuff, and repeatedly bent over to look at stuff in his bag, and it was just, you just didn't know, you were trying to look everywhere else bar at him, but yeah.
It's like when someone says don't look at something, it's like hypnotism. It just keeps pulling you back in. That hole is a vortex.
It was
I think
just
we're giving
not a
PTSD.
pretty sight.
I think we're giving back PTSD at this point.
DJ, you're a bit far from your mic.
Oh dear god. This year was interesting with Supernova. It was full Phantom burst this year, which was interesting.
Yes, we had 3 men and a Kermit ventriloquist puppet dressed as different eras of Phantom.
There were a few other people doing Phantom. There was one person I did see walking around that was doing Mr. Walker, and I have to say I was impressed because wearing the outfit he was wearing was actually pretty impressive. But he had the build for it, so he was doing Mr. Walker in Africa, or Bengali or wherever it is. Sorry. So he had the white shirt with the sleeves rolled up and the slacks and everything like that. But the shirt was undone partway down the chest, but he had the sunglasses on all day and the hat. But he also had the Phantom rings on. So
I was surprised at how many people were there to actually see Billy Zane. There was quite a large Phantom following. So, it's been interesting to see some of the guest Supernovas been getting out lately with, John Travolta, Billy Zane, then they've had Chris Hemsworth and Stephen Amell out over the last couple of years, as well as, Chuck Norris and, it's quite big names in there,
But yeah, please don't overlook Deborah Ann Woll and some of the remarkable ladies that they had as well.
Yeah, I have to say, I don't get photos often, but I had to get a photo with Deborah. She's not only an amazing actress. I'm a big Daredevil fan. I did watch True Blood with my wife, who loved that series as well. And yeah, it was. She's not only a great actress, but absolutely beautiful and friendly as well. So I got my my little photo. So yeah.
I know the guys at the Sons of Obi-Wan team were absolutely enthralled when they got their photo. I've never seen a smile that big on anyone's face. I feel bad now. I forgot his name. The head of their team, when they got their photo taken, he was absolutely smitten. He was saying she's a beautiful person.
Yeah,
as
you
a
need to
human
see.
being.
You need to see that photo on Instagram. They've got that up on their Instagram page. So check out the Sons of Obi-Wan on Instagram and that photo. It's I don't think you've seen a smile as big as that on someone. So, but yeah, it's been really good to have a good different mixture of all age groups for guests as well. Because Billy Zane's not only been the Phantom, but he's been in Titanic for the girls and other films as well.
Yes, we had some acquaintances go to Billy Zane with a DVD copy of Titanic, the movie, the play, which is something they performed recently. And they gave it to Billy Zane, and he was just like, I don't do bootlegs. And they're like, no, this is a play we did based on the movie.
And he autographed it.
Yeah.
Wow,
Even
that's
though he's not in
amazing.
it.
So yeah, out of all the different stars they had there, who was your standout that you loved the most this year, though?
For me, it was Deborah. I didn't really see anyone else. I would have liked to have seen John Travolta, but $210 for a auto and $250 for a photo was quite expensive and more than I could kind of justify to kind of meet someone for a very short amount of time. So Deborah was really the only one that I went and saw, but I was lucky enough to have the Red Power Ranger come past my stall on Sunday. And he really liked some of the Power Ranger prints that we were selling, and I've touched base with him after the convention to maybe doing some artwork for him, which is kind of cool. So,
which series Power Ranger was he?
it's the latest one, I'm pretty sure. It's with the star face. I'm not too good with my Power Rangers, so
Come on, DJ,
So
you
it's,
watch Power Rangers?
The recent one's Beast Morphers, and there's Ninja Steel.
Does
What is it?
Supernova still have their guest list up for? They're probably taking the guest list down for Brisbane.
No, probably still got it up on Facebook. It's up there permanently, unless they delete it.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I got it.
Well-
Wait, you've got Jason Isaacs. Adam Tierman. Was it Adam Tierman?
Yes, I believe. So bad with names. Pretty good with faces, but yeah, names I'm pretty bad with. Hope we can edit all this out when this goes live.
No, this is actually this is going live.
Yep. Got it.
This
Yep.
is going live.
All
Great,
the awkward
great.
pauses.
So I can't remember a person's name that's come and spoken to me. That's just
Yep.
great
got
job
it,
there. Great job
yeah.
there, Shaun. So
I'm just going to extract this audio and forward it on to when we find out the person.
Yep. Yeah, we got it. Yep. It's Adam Tierman.
Yeah. Yep, that's
Okay,
it.
I'll let Adam know you forgot who he is already.
No, please don't. Yeah. So so he was super nice. And he's the Red Ranger, isn't he? Yeah. That almost looks like purple. But yeah, no, he was super nice. It was really nice to kind of meet him and him stop by and say how good our artwork and everything was. So it's not often that you get the celebrities walking the floor, and even less when they actually stop to say something nice. So I really appreciate that, and yeah.
Actually, talking about a celebrity walking the floor and stopping and admiring someone's artwork. Did you hear what the DJ actually managed to have organised for Jamie Johnson?
Yeah, so I did see the post and everything with Billy Zane stopping by his table and getting photos and commenting on all of his covers and everything for free, which is absolutely amazing. So
My best moment was after taking a photo after posing with Jamie. Jamie immediately went to the table and he was trying to get Billy's attention, and I just went like, Mr. Zane, and Billy just turned back to Jamie, and Jamie's like, "Can you sign this DVD?" And I'm just going, "That was a good moment. It will be missed, and you will not know who the hell I am."
That's the most power you will ever have over someone.
But the good thing is he used it for good.
It's like that moment in history where you'll never be written about or remembered, but you were there, or you can tell everyone you were there, whether they believe you or not.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Yes. In 30 years, people will say, "Where were you when Billy Zane signed Jamie Johnson's thing?"
I was like, I was there. There's a little tear in my eye. I was there. That was me.
Yeah,
But
actually,
man,
I have to say one person I did miss out on seeing that I was hoping to see was Julie Benz. For those who don't recognise the name, she was Rita Bennett in Dexter. She was the wife in No Ordinary Family, and the mum. I can't remember her name in that. She was also in Boondock Saints 2 as the FBI agent. So yeah, been in a number of different TV series and movies. And yeah, just she's always been one of those actresses she does some amazingly insane stuff.
yeah.
But always seems to be having fun.
Yeah, I remember her from Buffy and Angel back in the day. So, but she also been on Supernatural, CSI, Law and Order. She's been on in quite a few things.
Yeah.
So, Shaun, you've been at Supernova for all 3 days. Saturday must have been the busiest of them all, wasn't it?
Yeah. Saturday, but that's not unusual. Saturday's always the busiest days in most conventions. Fridays are fairly quiet because you got people that work. are at uni or school, all that type of stuff, which makes the Gold Coast one so interesting. How do you get people to that convention at 11 a.m. when you've got work, school, so on and so forth. But Friday and Friday wasn't too bad, and Sunday was a little bit quiet, especially towards the end of the day. But that's not unusual. So
did you sell any any of the any of your comics?
yeah, so I sold one of my Terra Olympus books. Thank you, DJ.
You're welcome.
But no, sold a bunch of XCT. So which is really great. I'm only about 60 books off selling 6,500 now. So they're still selling quite well. This time around we had a couple of new customers buy stuff, but we did have several returning customers. So that's always really, really nice to see when people come back and are buying the issues that they've missed or catching up on ones that they don't have. So, I'm always grateful for people trying out my comic, and it's great to see that even. I didn't even realize, but it was 5 years in October that I've been doing it. So, it's pretty cool to know that I'm still releasing new comics from this series, half a decade in type of thing. So
Nice. So, what else can we say about Supernova?
Well, you guys still haven't said what your most favourite part of Supernova was yet.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. For me, it would just seeing old friends again. Like seeing good old Shaun in person after all this time. Seeing also guys like Super T and Sons of Obi-Wan after all. What else did I have? Meeting new people as well. I met some new artists at the Artist Alley, and also met some people at ZQ Racing, where I won the mouse mat from them of their Wheel of Fortune game.
A mouse mat is just a big mouse pad, so
Yeah.
you're close enough.
But
Yeah.
it's more than just a pad. It's a mat.
Yeah, I suppose you don't wipe your shoes off on a door pad.
This is going to be one of those Jif and Jaff moves, Jaff moments again.
I like that every time you bring up the GIF argument, you get the pronunciation.
Get it wrong.
You don't even have the most common pronunciations.
Is it is Jif?
we are going back into this. I love this. we had this conversation last time I was on. Oh, too funny.
Yeah.
One of these days you'll get your own jokes and we'll be fine.
Then they'll make a GIF out of it. They'll make a GIF out of that joke.
Oh no.
Heck, he actually got the pronunciation right. He doesn't even realize it.
Well, who else we met? We also met the Fortress guys as well, and they were pretty cool. Although it was pretty, like I said, it was pretty quick. It was pretty short though, which was pretty. I was like, should have stayed longer.
They changed their name, didn't they? They're not the Fortress anymore.
That's right. They're now the Fandom Zone. That's right. Yeah, they decided to do a soft rebranding, which is pretty nice.
I have to say, it's quite funny. They walked past our booth, and I saw them. And I was like, "Hey, I know you." I'm like, "Hey, how you going?" They're looking at me like, "Who are you?"
I think because of the beard, they're kind of like, wow, you look different.
I had the beard last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't stalk them as much as you did.
But the Fandom Zone were cool to talk to as well. Who did I speak to as well? Oh, I spoke to the guy who did Wolf Creek, John Barrett.
Jarrett.
John
Jarrett.
Jarrett. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's a nice person to talk to. He's nice. Like I was asking him a couple of the Wolf Creek questions, like how long did it take for you to do the evil laugh? And he said it took him 6 months to refine that whole laugh.
Wow.
Oh, he's from the old movie of it, isn't he? Not the reboot.
There's a reboot?
No,
Yeah,
he was
they
from
made
the,
a.
he was from the original Wolf Creek that had what's his name from America in it. They filmed only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's like 10 years old now, I think.
Yeah,
About 10 or 15 years old, and it's about a guy serial killing a bunch of backpackers.
yep.
Well, there's Wolf Creek 2 that was only a couple of years old.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought there was a TV series as well.
And then there's a TV series as well. And I believe he might be in that.
Yeah, he was in that too. Yeah.
He's in that as well. So yeah, because Dustin Clare, he's a guy, the guy who played Gannicus out of Spartacus. He's like one of my favorite actors type of thing. So he was in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say I still prefer a lot of his earlier work with that most amazing TV show from Australia, Play School.
That's right. Yep.
Here's Big Ted sharpening his knives.
Well, you can see him doing something like that, but he's not allowed to because of copyright, and the ABC would sue. But yeah, yeah. No, I still remember watching Play School with my nephews and nieces at different times, and yeah, I still look back and go, where's John Jarrett? He was always fun.
I will say this though, he is doing crowdfunding. He's doing a movie that's crowdfunded, and it's a pretty good movie from what I've heard the plot about. But yeah, so he was talking about his time at playing in Tarantino films as well, and he said that both Tarantino and Gary McLean are great directors.
So this new project he's working on, is that up on crowdfunding now, like Kickstarter or Indiegogo? Do you know? Or
yeah, it's called What About Sal? I'll post up the link.
What About Sal? Okay. So moving on, Professor, what was your highlight of the convention, mate?
Well, I didn't get out to look at things much, but I really enjoyed seeing the cosplayers come past our table, especially the 40k ones. Like Buck was saying, the Sisters of Battle were really well done, and it made it even better that there was a fire team of Sisters of Battle. Like, to have people who are good enough, it takes confidence to dress up as a character for an event. Having a group of friends who will also dress up as that character and go and hang out with you, that's really special to have. But there was a guy playing a mad scientist type figure who had a really cool gizmo built out of retro tech, which I liked. Stuff like Nixie tubes and radio valves.
Actually, I just remembered one of the cosplayers that did stand out to me. We were talking about the Daredevil ones before. There was a lot of people walking around pretending they were blind with bits of makeup on to make it look like they'd been beaten up. There was a guy walking around who was actually blind, and he had the cane.
Wow.
Yeah, I was sitting there, I was like, I don't know if he's actually cosplaying as Daredevil or if he just is blind. And then just a few other things he did, yeah, like he actually took his glasses off, and yeah, I could see he actually was blind. And I was like, full kudos, making use of an opportunity to just be the coolest person in the room.
See, I reckon that's awesome, and a reason why more characters with impairments, I don't want to say disabilities, but impairments, should be on TV and be superheroes and everything, because to be able to cosplay that and use that impairment as part of your cosplay is awesome. So
yeah, like there was I think it was last year, there was a guy going around, or a young fellow I should say, cosplaying Professor X. I don't know if you guys saw him in a wheelchair.
No, I didn't see him, but
No.
yeah, I have seen a couple of those before, which is kind of cool. There's been a couple online where fathers have made starships like the Millennium Falcon or whatever around the wheelchair and stuff. So thinking outside the box for those type of things is really cool. So how did you guys like being behind the table rather than walking around and everything like that? Did you find anything different or something that sticks out to you that surprised you or anything like that, or was it about what you expected?
Well, the reactions of the people were pretty good. The one Buck and I think stands out is this girl who must have been about 15 or 16, and we were explaining some of the different podcasts to her, and then she saw the one about she saw Floof and Papa, which is about dogs, and she just got this pure bliss facial expression.
Yes, I remember that one. She's walking past and she was looking at some of the banners I had behind me, and one in particular caught her eye, and that was and then they effed, and then she was looking, and I said, "Oh, do you listen to podcasts at all?" And she says, "I'd like to," and so she was looking at the bits and pieces, and I was going through, and I noticed that she's reasonably young, so I was directing her more to the Disney versus Disney debates, that sort of stuff, rather than the less than parent-friendly podcasts, as her mum and dad were right behind her. And then she wasn't looking all that excited about most of them, and then I come across on there. And then we've got Floof and Papa, and her jaw dropped, massive smile, the eyes lit up like it was Christmas Day, and she was just straight out. She's walking away holding the flyer with all the information, and she was just holding it like a Japanese businessman who just got the business card of his life. And I was just going, well, I could go home now and I'm happy. Like that, nothing's going to be better than that.
Yeah, I think that feeling never ever gets old. That when they walk past and do a double take or pick up the comic and look through the comic and you can really tell that they're really excited and into it. I think, I agree with you guys. I don't think anything can kind of beat that feeling that gives you type of thing.
Yeah. So Floof and Papa, I'm pretty sure you guys got at least one new listener. Like, there's probably quite a few from over the weekend. But there's a young lady out there. There's a young lady out there that was absolutely smitten with just the mere concept. So yes.
Yeah, you could tell. I think Zane set out of the booth quite well. You could tell by watching people walk past exactly when they got through reading the banners and then they effed, which is a dirty fan fiction podcast by the Baroness, who we mentioned earlier, and a few others. You could tell they'd be kind of looking, just eyes glazed over, taking it in. Then they'd get to one particular angle and see that, and immediately do a double take, which makes me think we should make our title dirty so that we get more people looking at us.
And I have to say, it was actually the ladies who were the most excited about that particular podcast. I'm not sure what's going on there, but kudos to the ladies for exploring that side of their personality. I think
women are a little bit more open and comfortable with that than guys are, especially if there's three guys behind a table and they're asking to get that podcast pamphlet off for you guys.
Well, it was actually at one point I was actually glad I was behind the table because there was a group of girls and they were all excited about that, and they started arguing about what's their favourite fan fiction. And at that point, it was only me and the Baroness behind the table, and they were arguing about all the different types of fan fiction and all this sort of stuff. And I only found out apparently on Saturday that there was apparently Winnie the Pooh fan fiction and stuff like that. And I'm just like, no. And I was just, yeah. And the girls were all excited, and they started talking about all these different things. And I was just like, no.
But here's the thing. Think of fan fiction as the
Don't make
as
me
the
hurt you.
writers
Don't make me
equivalent to
hurt
Rule
you.
34.
Don't make me hurt you.
Yeah, try not to get rusted on with the Baroness because your mind will be scarred. You will find out things that no man was ever supposed to know. And I mean, man as in the race of men, Tolkien-esque sort of thing.
I will say right now, thank you very much to the Baroness. She's a beautiful person, and she helped make our booth happen. And I personally enjoyed the time that I managed to spend with her.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, just that your mind will be forever altered.
That was the Professor Baroness, not Bach. That was the Professor.
I've got nothing to say. I wasn't there. I don't know what just happened. So yeah. Well, there were a couple of new booths that came up this year though, which was interesting, like the Hackerspace.
But was it really a hackerspace?
Yes, where people
See,
can...
people are taking the term hacking, and they're applying it to all sorts of things now. Like they have hackathons, and it's not hacking as it used to be back in the old days. Now they're trying to find solutions to things. Hacking was about delving into the code and wiring of things and making shortcuts. These days, it's very weird.
It was about doing things to see if you could. And then cracking became a thing, which was doing things maliciously for gain. And
Well, no. Cracking as it started out wasn't maliciously. It was about just trying to make it so that you could... that was how a lot of the fan-developed pages for games started, was through cracking. Because they cracked the code and you could write new maps.
Okay. Well, either way, the media mixed things up for us. So these days, everyone thinks of hackers wearing hoodies in a dark room on the dark web trying to steal your bank account. We're not all evil.
So yeah, the Hackerspace table was an interesting one where you get to look at 3D printing and some of the creations they did, and they were amazing to look at. I think I introduced the professor to the group as well.
Yeah, I hadn't seen them when I came in, but I've been meaning to make my way down there for quite a while, but it's a bit out of the way for me. So I'm hoping to get down there now that I'm moving and maybe find a time to drop in.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to really walk around the section. I always seem to spend most of my time either behind the table or in Artist Alley, having a look at what the other artists and creators are kind of doing. I never really kind of get up and around all the different exhibitors these days. So it's kind of good to hear that there are a few different ones, because it did seem for quite a while there was just the same exhibitors, every year type of thing.
Yeah.
There was actually one thing I did actually see so I didn't wander around all the time. I spent most of the time at the booth, but there was a couple that were drawing on hats. So they had like trucker style hats that were plain white, and you could choose artwork. Like they were sitting there drawing it freehand in front of you, and they had different ones that they had already finished and others that they were like, you could probably request something, and they were just sitting there drawing with these pen bottles on these caps, and it was actually quite impressive. Like, it was really good quality artwork. I didn't get the name of who they were though.
I think I know who you're talking about. Was it Arts and Tats or something?
Well, as I said, I didn't get their name.
Because we now have our Instagram page, and and I showed them our Instagram page and say follow us as well. So yeah, let me just find them.
Because everyone always just follows the Instagram page when they get some weird, scary looking little guy come up to them and say, follow us.
Airbrush Tats and Caps. That's what it's called.
Okay. But yeah, like, full kudos to those guys. Like you walk around Artist Alley and you see some of the guys like Jamie Johnson actually doing, like, just drawing to keep busy because they're bored, or doing commissions and so forth. And it's always mind-boggling how amazingly beautiful the artwork that they do is. But then walking past these guys doing the hats, and it was just like, crap, that is literally one of the coolest things I've seen today. Like, that was, that's a game changer. Like, they're actually drawing on the hats. Like, I'd love to see them doing stuff on shirts and that as well. But yeah, that was just fantastic.
Yeah, it's always good to see new things and that. So, well, it's funny that you said tees, because if you go to his website, he does do t-shirts.
Does he?
Yeah, so he's got airbrush caps, poster prints, and graffiti tees.
Okay. I only saw the hats just briefly as I was trying to find someone at the time, and there was a couple of scary Spider-Man walking past in
He's
lycra.
two things that'll scare Buck from now on: Super Smash Brothers and Spider-Man.
It's not Spider-Man. It's just the lycra. Like, guys, if you're going to wear lycra, wear a pair of shorts or something over the top or underneath so that the junk's covered and hidden.
No,
Especially-
guys, don't listen
Especially
to
if you're
him.
going to be hot and sweaty.
Let
and
it
it's gonna
all
get
hang
see-through.
out, guys. Let it all hang out.
And if you do,
Don't listen.
and you're at the convention, go to the Comics2Movies booth at XCT and go after Shaun. He loves looking at that.
Mate, you can come and buy as much as you want off me, and I'll walk you straight over to Buck, and we can all rub ourselves up against him. He'll love it, guys. Don't you worry about that.
So next year we're going to have Shaun leading a bunch of twerking Spider-Men.
Oh my god!
That will be the best thing ever. Now I just need to pick my theme song.
Okay, next year I'm buying myself a gun.
But Buck, you'll be banned if you buy a gun. You won't be able to go in.
They sell guns in the store.
Yeah, but not live ammo gun.
They have Nerf bullets.
Yeah, but Nerf bullets don't do anything. They're just Nerf bullets.
They do if you get them in the eye.
Which eye?
Especially if hey, if you put a needle into the end of it, it hurts even more.
Oh, wow. He's thought too much about this.
I've heard of people using ball bearings, but never needles.
Ah.
You're disturbing, Buck.
Yeah, that's another level, isn't it?
had
That is another level.
I had a butcher bird that used to hang around.
Do you want to deal with?
I used to have a butcher bird that used to hang around and try and catch the wrens and finches that would sit outside my kitchen window. And I'm not allowed to shoot a normal gun because I'm living in a suburban area, but I can shoot a Nerf gun. And surprisingly, I almost got it a couple of times.
I'm glad you didn't get it.
I didn't have a needle in the end. It was just the actual normal dart.
Oh, okay. You should have clarified that at the start, mate. Everyone thought you had the needle in it.
No. My nephews and nieces play with my Nerf guns as well, and if I forgot to take the needle out, I would be in trouble then. You'd have kids walking around with darts hanging off of them with needles in the end. Mom!
Have you ever seen that video of the drunk guy with his hand on the dartboard?
Yes.
They're trying to do the throw the dart between the fingers thing or something like that, but he's got his hand right up on the dartboard and it just funks right into the middle of his hand, and he just kind of looks at it like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way when you're sober.
We've all been drunk and done silly things.
You might have.
The DJ hasn't.
I've been drunk once, and that was it.
He's done lots of silly things, but it's normally sober.
Yeah, he realized that if he gets drunk, he becomes too silly.
I don't know about that.
He has to restrain himself for the good of humanity.
And I just do silly things just because it's fun. I don't need to be drunk.
There was also another store that I went to where it was called Shoot It First Jewelry. That was interesting as well, where they use spent bullets and they make jewelry out of them. They've got jewelry from the 12-gauge shotgun to the studs. To the 9mm, and bullet pins as well. They made so. Yeah, there are some other interesting stalls that have been starting up. So
yeah, that's quite cool.
Did you find one with your name on it?
Nah. I did find one with your name on it though, Buck.
Yeah, well, I'm not running away if it wants to find me.
Oh, anything else? How was Sunday though, Sean?
Sunday for me was pretty quiet. So, yeah, I got to do my photo with Deborah, and then I went and saw it after I got my photo, which was kind of cool. I had a friend help me at the stand, Kimberly Clark, who is an author herself. So she's got a half comic, half story called Infernum, which is been really popular and a really good um, change to the medium where it's both story and or novel and graphic novel. So she was helping me out at the stall and everything. But yeah, Sunday was fairly quiet, but again, that's not unusual. I packed up pretty much right on 6 o'clock and headed to the airport and was home about midnight that night. So which was pretty good to get back to the family after three weekends in a row being away. So
Yeah. Anything else adding on, fellas, before we
Hang on, who's hosting this week?
Yeah,
Professor? Because everyone's so quiet, it's just like anything else?
but we are starting to get towards the end. So, DJ, would you like to tell us who won our giveaway?
Our giveaway, it was, drum roll please, Jessica. She won. And the crowd goes wild as the name's been announced. She will be taking away our lovely prize, a gift bag full of prizes.
That's very informative.
Well, I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Everyone saw it anyway. They know what's in it.
Yeah, that's true.
So why don't you tell us what it is? Remind us all what Jessica won.
So she's won a cap and a keychain from because you're Sons of Obi-Wan. She's won a toy set, Lego set, and Avengers stickers from Super T. A comic book set from our own Shaun. What else has she won? A couple of cards from us, Nerds Amalgamated, and a tote bag.
And the travel mug, and there's also some earbuds from
Musicals told me everything I know.
Ah, yes. So yeah, that will be coming to her as soon as possible.
Yes.
So thanks, Shaun, for the comics, by the way.
that's no problem at all. And as always, I appreciate you guys having me on, and wanted to let your listeners know that if they listen to this within the next 48 hours, we're having a 40% off sale on our online store, which is at www.comics2movies.com.au, and all they need to do is enter 400FF in the coupon code, and they'll get 40% off everything in our online store. So that is just for your listeners, as well as my email list. So yeah, thanks again for having me, guys. I always appreciate coming on. So
Thanks very much, Shaun. We'll make sure to let you know when we put this up so you can activate the sale. So, did you guys have any time to play any games this week?
I didn't actually get around to playing anything new. I got caught up with playing Call of Duty World War II, having fun flying a plane. So I got up to the Ardennes Forest, Battle of the Bulge, and there's the leading to that where you actually have to fly a plane through as part of a bombing raid, and you're in I think it's a P-51. So yeah, quite interesting controlling that and trying to shoot down German Me-109s and racing through the back area of the battleground and having to do stealth kills as much as possible on the German soldiers. Quite a lot of fun with that.
I've been playing the zombies mode, and I found a favorite weapon, which is the Thunderbuss. You take a blunderbuss and upgrade it, and it becomes a sort of a single-shot grenade launcher. But the grenades are rainbows and fireworks, and
It's set for Marvel.
So, what about you, Shaun? Did you play anything?
No, but tomorrow, being my last day off, I am getting Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and I will be playing the shit out of that. Or whoops, am I able to say that on the podcast?
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay, yeah,
We've said worse things.
yeah, really looking forward to that. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, so been looking forward to playing that one for a while. So another reason why it's kind of cool for the conventions to end. I can get back to doing some of this cool stuff and playing some of these new cool games that come out.
Oh, but then here's my concern though with Star Wars and EA games loot
Here we
boxes.
Well,
Don't wanna
is this
hear it.
on EA?
Moving on.
Hang on.
Who
Folks,
made
you all
Fallen
heard him.
Order? I thought it went to a different studio.
Nope, it's EA.
Okay.
More importantly, folks, you all heard him say it. He said loot boxes.
So-
Get ready, Spanky. I'm going to be slapping you next time I see you.
Oh no, but they're not loot boxes. They're surprise
That's not what
mechanics.
you said, though.
I
said
know, I
loot
know, I
boxes.
know.
If you wanted to say surprise mechanics, you could have said surprise mechanics.
You're going to be getting a surprise, and it's not going to be a mechanic.
So, what have you played, DJ?
I haven't been playing anything, man. I've just been busy with assignments and all.
Slack.
Oh,
Very
got to give
lazy.
him some space there. Like with everything's been happening, he had a assignment due last week. He's got one this week. We had Supernova. Yeah, I'll give him credit. Like he's been working his scary little fingers to the bone.
You get to pass this week.
Yeah, normally I pay out on him, but yeah, I got to give him credit. Like the amount of work he's been doing, he's doing quite well.
Anyway, let's get on to the shout-outs for tonight. Of course, we'd like to thank the Sons of Obi-Wan, Shaun, and Super T for their contributions to our Bag of Holding giveaway, along with Musicals Taught Me Everything I Know for their headphones. And we'd just like to thank the Podfather and the Baroness for helping us get to Supernova and providing us with the booth to host our presence on Saturday.
And argue with people.
Yeah, not that Buck needed help getting into arguments.
Yeah, no, but it was fun.
We'd also like to give a shout out to the Fireys who are working hard to save homes and lives on just about half of the east coast of Australia at the moment, all up and down New South Wales and Queensland. Thankfully, I think I saw that there's going to be thunderstorms in the next few days, so hopefully that will help take the heat off, but that's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Well, I think they'd probably be happy to have some of the heat taken off as well, because wearing all that gear does get pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we're saying cosplayers are hot. Cosplayers aren't in a bushfire.
Yes.
Speaking of hot though, Buck, you were saying about the Sons of Obi-Wan. They were going through
Yeah, they posted some videos on the drive back. They're doing some live streaming and showing some of the areas they're driving through was there's still flames on either side of the road.
Just gotta give them props for being that brave.
Well, it's not a matter of being brave. That if it was bad, you wouldn't be allowed to get through there at all.
Yes, they usually try to close the highway if they think it's not going to be safe to drive through.
Yes,
Unless it
flashes through very quickly. I remember years ago going to Sydney, and there was some pretty big bushfires out west of Sydney, and literally driving in on the M1 or whatever it is, coming down from the ranges, and this is 4 or 5 lanes each way in a cutting, and yeah, while we're driving through, the fire actually caught up over the top and it actually leapt across the freeway from one side to the other. And that's like 50 meters across, I think it was at the top. And the flames literally went from one side all the way across the other. And yes, I was very nervous, and a bit of poo may have come out.
Okay, we didn't need to know that, but okay.
If you ever find yourself in a situation with a bushfire flying across the top of your head, I challenge you to not be feeling that scared.
Yeah. Anyway, our remembrances. So we have two for the 11th of November 1918. George Lawrence Price, a Canadian soldier who is recognized as the last soldier of the British Empire to be killed during World War I. He was shot by a German sniper as he stepped out of a house into the street. He was treated by a young Belgian nurse, but died at 10:58 a.m. on November 11th, 2 minutes before the armistice came into effect. He died at 25 in Ville-sur-Haine, something like that. It's French. No one can pronounce that. And on the same day and very close to the same time, we have Henry Gunther, the American soldier, and believed to be the last soldier killed during World War I. As they approached a roadblock prior to 11 a.m., Gunther decided to get up against the orders of his sergeant and charged the Germans with his bayonet. The Germans, who knew about the armistice approaching, tried to wave him away, and he kept going and fired at them, so they shot him, and he was killed instantly at 10:59 a.m. He died at 23. I don't know what was going on in his head, but to come that close and mess it up.
He was
You sure his surname wasn't Epstein?
Hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself.
Because in this case, Gunther definitely didn't kill himself.
Although here's the funny thing, I was reading his bio. He was basically doing all this to get his rank back.
Yeah, sure, disobeying direct orders and mucking around like that would make everyone happy with him.
Because the funniest part was, as soon as he died, he got reinstated as a sergeant. I'm going, you did all this, get your rank back.
So he got his rank back for being a bit of an idiot.
Yep.
That's proof that America promotes and rewards the biggest idiot amongst them.
And on the 11th of November 1973, we have Arturi Ilmari Virtanen, the Finnish chemist and recipient of the 1945 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for his research and inventions in agricultural and nutrition chemistry, especially for his fodder preservation methods. He developed methods to improve milk production and preserve butter. He died of pneumonia at 78 in Helsinki. And for our famous birthdays, we have on the 11th of November 1951, Kim Peek, the American savant, who's inspired the character Raymond Babbitt in the movie Rain Man. And on the same day in 1948, we have Vincent Schiavelli, the American actor, noted for described as the man with the sad eyes. He linked his unique facial appearance and tall stature to Marfan syndrome. Anyway, Vincent Schiavelli played the subway ghost in Ghost, Organ Grinder in Batman Returns, and Dr. Kaufman in Tomorrow Never Dies. He was also the Harkonnen Mentat Yannick Kobel in Emperor Battle for June. And on the same day in 1907, we have Joseph Gilbert Hamilton, the American professor of medical physics, experimental medicine, general medicine, and experimental radiology, director of the Crocker Laboratory, part of the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab. He studied the effects of exposure to radioactive isotopes, which included the use of unsuspecting human subjects. Yes, people weren't quite as concerned with the Board of Ethics back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And events of interest on the 11th of November 1675, Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz demonstrates integral calculus for the first time to find the area under the graph of y equals f brackets x, a function, whatever that means.
It's a form of torture without actually physically interacting with the person.
Yes, the German man who caused immense suffering for millions of children.
by that logic, this guy's worse than Hitler.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's caused more sleepless nights for children and adults alike.
To be fair, calculus has never killed anyone.
Wow.
At least not as a direct effect.
Not that we know about.
Though calculus is used in physics, and there is a guy who made a roller coaster that kills you, or at least designed it. So
There you go. And you were talking about the area under the graph. The area under the graph is the death effect for that roller coaster. So there you go.
okay.
Calculus has been utilised in standardising production level murder or euthanasia.
Anyway, on the same day in 1930, Albert Einstein and Leo Szilard received the patent for their invention, the Einstein refrigerator. It's a refrigerator with no moving parts at a constant pressure and requires only a heat source. In their design, they used water, ammonia, and butane. It's a really interesting design that you can basically have a flame and use that to cool down the contents of your fridge. And they still use that these days in camper vans. In the same day, in 1954, The Two Towers, the second volume of Lord of the Rings by Tolkien, was published by Allen and Unwin in London. The Two Towers being the Tower of Orthanc and Isengard. This is where someone's going to remind me I've just used two different names for the same thing. No? Okay.
I was going to, but I thought I'd let you get away with it.
Okay. So remind me, which ones are they?
Well, it's Isengard and is the tower. Hang on, I'm just going to make sure I get this right. Isengard is the White Wizard's tower, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Isengard's Saruman's tower, and Helm's Deep is.
No, it's not Helm's Deep.
It's not.
No, because Helm's Deep's a castle. It's a tower.
It's the Helm's Deep is the last bastion for the Riders of Rohan.
Okay.
It's Sauron's tower.
Yes, which is
the name escapes me. Yeah, the name escapes me at the moment.
Actually, sorry, I just pulled up the
It's Barad-dûr.
yeah, I just pulled up the Lord of the Rings wiki. Orthanc is an alternative name for the Tower of Isengard. Sauron's tower is Barad-dûr.
That's it.
Come on, guys.
I'm shocking with names. Like I could picture it. I knew the name. I just couldn't actually get it out. It's one of my regular shortcomings. I apologize.
What doesn't help is that there's about 3 different names for it because Tolkien was just that good that he came up with 3 different languages.
Yeah, because it had a different name in the Dwarven, a different name in the Elvish, a different name in Orcish, and a different name in Common for Sauron's tower. So it actually had like 4 or 5 names, depending on which language you looked at.
I found out something interesting the other day that Tolkien was actually in a writer's mastermind with C.S. Lewis.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they used to write letters to each other, and I think it's commonly accepted that there's a bit of inspiration swapping going on there.
Also,
I didn't realize that, so I found that really interesting.
Yeah, I think they even some of their letters are debates about religion because C.S. Lewis's Narnia is very thinly veiled allegory for the Bible.
But here's an interesting thing. One of our all-time favorite heroes, Christopher Lee, actually met Tolkien at his pub in Oxford. Did you know that?
No. There's so many stories about Christopher Lee, but I never knew that one.
I actually posted up. I found an amazing video. I've actually posted up on our Facebook page where it talks about a lot of the different things that he did throughout his life. And yeah, one of the really cool things was he actually managed to meet Tolkien. So yes, not only was he, and he was also he actually studied fencing in high school or college or whatever, and was first in his team. So his sword fighting is actually Christopher Lee is actually he was a true sword fighter.
And there's the story, like he was in the special forces during World War II,
Yes.
And there's the story that he would on the set of Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson was talking over a scene with them, and he's like, and then you get stabbed in the back, and you go, and Christopher Lee's just like, no, Peter, that's not how it sounds.
I
And
still
he's
remember.
in a metal band.
And he was asked if he could. He was also friends with what's his name? The guy who wrote the James Bond novels,
Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming. They were apparently good friends, and Fleming actually wanted him to play the part of Dr. No in the movie,
Wow.
but he didn't tell the producers about it in time, and they had already cast somebody else. So then later on, he got to play the part of Scaramanga in The Man with the Golden Gun, and he played it completely different to how it is in the book. In the book, he was supposed to be an Eastern European thug, but Christopher Lee came out and did it so that it was more of a evil version of Bond, because it had to have that class.
I wonder if Christopher Lee and Ian Fleming served together.
I can't remember where it said that they met, but the video's on our Facebook page, and it goes through a lot of the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So yeah, and one of his coolest lines that he ever said, he was being asked if he could tell some of the stories of what he got up to when he served in the military, because he was also part of the original SAS team in North Africa. In case you didn't know that, someone was asking him about it, and he goes, "Can you keep a secret?" And they said yes, and he said, "So can I," and walked away.
Interesting news about Christopher Lee. His mum married Harcourt George St. Croix Rose, a banker and uncle of Ian Fleming, thus became Lee's step cousin.
That's how he met him. Okay. I
Yeah.
did read
Talking
through all
about
that the other
people's
day.
parents again, DJ.
Here
Yeah,
you go.
so
He was also
obviously-
related. He was also related to Charlemagne.
Yes, which is the topic of the metal albums that he did.
Yes.
Obviously, while we're on the topic of parents, Christopher Lee's parents were quite clearly, one of them was a spy and one was a dark wizard, which is how Ian Fleming got his spy stuff and how Christopher Lee got his dark wizard stuff. That's the logic, isn't it, DJ?
Nah.
You
Talking about the
sure?
wizard, talking about the dark wizardry. Apparently, he was rumored to have one of the largest collections in the world of that sort of gear, like grimoires and everything like that. Apparently, over 20,000 items in his collection.
Wow. I'd love to take a poke around his library.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so looks like our last event of interest for this week. On the 11th of November 1961, Molotov, Malenkov, and Kaganovich were expelled from the USSR's Communist Party. All lived mostly quiet lives from then on. Although it's important to know that the Molotov cocktail, when you drink alcohol, it warms you up on the inside. The Molotov cocktail will warm you up on the outside.
Communism, a very, very flammable mixture.
No, it's not so much the communism that's flammable.
Yeah. It's the highly potent alcohol or fuel that's been set on fire.
That seems to be all we have for this week. Congratulations to Jessica for winning the bag of holding. Thank you, Shaun, for joining us for this recap. I think Shaun's having some computer issues there. He's been
Yeah, thanks, guys. Sorry, yeah, it's dropping in and out at the moment. So don't know what's going over here, but thanks again for having me on.
Yep. Welcome, brother.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a good one, guys.
See you, Shaun. So, DJ, can you tell us where to find us?
They can find us on Facebook. They can find us on Twitter at @namalgamated. We got a Facebook group as well. We also now have an Instagram page as well. So head on out there and check out our happy snaps. And they can also email us at nerds.amalgamated@gmail.com. That's about it from where they can find us. Oh, and they can also find us on that'snotcanon.com, where we have an archive of our old old episodes, and all of them will be on Spotify, Stitcher, and iTunes.
And you can check out the Flew from Papa and Then They Effed podcast, which we mentioned tonight.
And also all of our merchandise.
Yes, including the travel mug and bag that we included in the bag of holding. So that's all we have. We will see you next week.
See you guys.
Remember to look out for each other, take care of your souls, and stay hydrated. Hooroo.